Hello, everyone. My name is Shaisa Zishan, and I am a healer and a therapist for mind, body, and soul in Sharjah. And I basically help people deal with their emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual issues. Uh, and it could be anything that they're going through in life. Okay, so that's me. How are you today? Well, I'm doing pretty well, even though there's a lot of uncertainty around in the globe and in even in UAE right now. But overall, I am doing a lot better because I'm focusing on whatever I couldn't do before and things that I was keeping pending for some time because of the busy schedule. So now is my time to just go through the books that were there that I kept buying and I didn't had time to go through them, or things that I've learned in my healing journey and I'm putting them to practice. So I think I'm growing and I'm evolving, which is what all the human consciousness is all about. So yeah, I'm doing pretty well and I'm feeling very blessed, honestly speaking. Can you enlighten us as to what is a mind body soul therapist? So I basically help people deal with their emotional issues. They could have recurring issues in life, uh, just like they have anger issues. They're not able to deal with the stresses in life, and no matter what they do, they just can't get over that emotion, which is like a limiting, which is limiting them in some way, in and is not allowing them to progress in life the way they want to, and something that is hampering their growth at a soul level. So it could be anger, it could be an anxiety, it could be fear, phobias, often things that they even don't have an understanding of where they're coming from. So sometimes we do have certain patterns in life, feelings, emotions, and even sometimes diseases, illnesses that we have no idea where they're coming from, why a certain illness becomes a pattern within a family and everybody seems to be getting it. So we sometimes think that it's just it's just being passed down as inherited diseases, but I think there's much more deeper causes and reasons that some often people fail to understand, and they just come up in the sessions. So I practice a number of healing modalities, and depending on the issue that the person is going through, I just pull out any method, any tool from my toolbox, and use that to help my client with whatever they're facing. Sometimes it goes back to generations, how the ancestors had faced their life, what traumas and tragedies they had to go through, and though the effect of those experiences gets embedded in the following generations through genes and DNAs, something that so genes is something we can see under a microscope, or medically we can see them, but there is another thing which is called epigenetics that gets imprinted as a blueprint onto our genes, and oftentimes we are living life not like how we would want to, but based on the echoes that our ancestors had, to go through, and the patterns and just the things that they were not able to resolve when they were alive, on how people were forgotten in families, somebody was excluded, somebody had a tragic death, somebody just died young and then forgotten. So all these things definitely have an impact on the following generations. So things like these are a part of my practice, which goes down deeper than just the mind and body and into the soul, soul of the person and the soul of the family. So that is just a brief snapshot of what I actually do as a therapist. And I also practice hypnotherapy, which is like changing the beliefs and patterns, the limiting beliefs, the patterns, that people are having problems with, that are not helping them move forward in life, so to speak. Even relationship problems stem from our subconscious mind, and we attract our partners based on our experiences as well as the experiences of our parents and our grandparents. So it goes back to a lot of deeper experiences that often we have no idea about. So yeah, that's all I do, and it's even more deeper than that. But it depends on what the person is going through and what will actually help him solve that problem, and then I use the methods that would best suit him or her in this situation. How can a common man understand the connection between mind and body? Okay, that's a very interesting question. So instead of going into a lot of detail, I would just give an example of mind being the software. So we have laptops and computers, and everything has a software and a hardware. So mind is actually like a software, and body is like a hardware. So if there is anything not working correctly within the software, for example, if there's a virus, if there is something that is not installed in the system, the hardware will not work the way it's supposed to work. So that's exactly the same thing what happens when the mind is not at peace. There are programs running within the mind, within the conscious and the subconscious mind, that are in a conflict with the soul of the person, and there is a need for checking those beliefs, checking those patterns, checking those subconscious folders that are not letting people live the life that they really want to live, and something is just blocking their way, and it goes deeper than the present moment. So most of the time, we do not understand why I'm feeling this way. Why am I suffering this way? What is it that's holding me back from being happy or feeling peaceful? So often times, I think 100% of the time, the reason goes back to the childhood, or even before than that. So yeah, so that's what it is. So mind is the software, and the body is the hardware. And if both are not in align with each other, then definitely there's a need to heal something within our within our being, so that we can live a fulfilled, peaceful life, and with a lot of awareness. That's what my sessions are mostly about. I create a lot of awareness, and people are just amazed to understand that we are much more than the physical body. We are consciousness. So the mind has a consciousness of its own, the body has a consciousness and intelligence of its own, and the soul has a consciousness of its own. Everything has to be in align with one another. Otherwise there's a disorder or a dysfunction could be in the form of emotional issues, mental issues, as well as physical issues. So yeah, that's it. When okay, is it possible that one may think they are absolutely fine and still be in the need of a therapist? Yes, because when we are in the school of earth, just like I call it, the school of earth, so it has its own curriculum. And we cannot say that whoever comes here with a clean slate, and they're absolutely fine, and they are 100% happy or 100% at peace. We have seen that even the rich and the wealthy people, no matter how much money they have, they're still not at peace. They are going through depressions, they're going through uncertainty, they're going through dark night of the soul. They don't know why they're feeling what they're feeling. So I have not seen anybody who would say that I'm living just like I want to live. So there are so many things that that needs to be heard, to be understood, to be healed. So it's too good to be true if somebody says that. Yeah, that I don't. I'm just living the way I should be living, and I don't need therapies and I don't need sessions. But yeah, there would be people who may not need it. That's their choice, but they cannot say that they are 100% at peace with themselves. Yeah. Okay. When and why should one consult a therapist? Like I said, when somebody feels that they are not living the way they want to live, and they have certain feelings and certain emotions, certain blocks in their life, which feels like a recurring pattern, and something that is not letting them feel the bliss and the peace of mind. They have anger issues, probably they have relationship issues, behavioral issues with children, and they do not know why their children are behaving in a certain way. How could they help them? So therapies are for everyone. Sometimes our children are enacting out something that needs to be healed within the family. So the child would be acting out. There would be behavioral issues, sometimes a certain illness as well. Could be signaling the fact that there is something that needs to be resolved within the family dynamics. So yes, when somebody's feeling uneasy and they feel that they might need some help and support, is when they should seek help from a therapist. All right, so the next question is, what is a typical session like and how long does it last? So it depends upon the situation, the issue that the person is coming with. Sometimes it could be resolved within one session, but sometimes more sessions are also needed. So every case and every person is unique. I've never seen any client whose situation and circumstances, as well as past experiences, have been similar to the other person. And because we all have unique personalities and a unique soul's blueprint. Yeah, so I cannot be certain unless I go through their historical background and I understand after one or two sessions that if everything is okay, then they don't need sessions. They're anyways healed from that problem, what they came in for. And that's it. So every session typically takes about an hour or an hour and a half. Yeah, that's how it is. And mostly, if there's a problem that needs more sessions and one session might not be enough for them, then I normally ask them to come back after 7 days, that is a week, or at least 10 days, so that I can track the progress, and accordingly I design the therapies, and I take it from there. There is not much importance given to mental health. Can you explain how important it is to be mentally healthy, and what impact does it have if ignored? So, like I said, if I do not solve, I do not heal, I do not dig deeper into the problems that I am facing in life, somebody else will begin to do it for me. And that could be probably my own children and my following generation. They would begin to resonate with my unlived life, my unhealed problem. And that is something I demonstrate, or I use it in a session using the method of family constellations, which talks pretty much about why I'm suffering the way I'm suffering, why I'm having a relationship problem with my husband, or with my children, or with my parents, or with my siblings. What is the reason for my financial blocks, for example, why I'm having limiting, finances, lack of abundance, or, things like that. So all they go back to how our ancestors have lived their life, how much resources they had at their disposal. And out of love and loyalty, I will follow them in their footsteps. How can I live a better life when they couldn't? So these all are addressed beautifully within family constellations. Yes, a lot needs to be done. It's mostly considered a taboo to seek therapies. I honestly fail to understand the reason why, but it's more of a cultural thing, because I know religiously we are not told not to, seek help, or, contain your emotions and don't talk about your emotions and don't talk about your problems. It's something like that. Maybe it's more of a cultural and a society, and how our society has conditioned people to believe that, it's more of a shameful thing to do, to go out and seek help and tell people that, you have some psychological problem going on. It's pretty normal to go through problems in life, and to have depression in life, to have sadness and grief, resentment, guilt in life. It's pretty normal. But clinging on to those emotions for the rest of your life is being ungrateful to life itself, I believe. So, yes, we must give importance to mental and emotional health, because that's when we have a unified feeling within our families as well. We will be able to be in sync and in line with who we are, and our families, our husbands and children will become a reflection of it eventually. So, I need to work on myself before I, blame somebody else to change themselves, or to improve themselves, on to work on themselves. So it's, if there is something which is triggering me, I need to work on that. Basically, it's like that. Your advice to people during the pandemic crisis? So yeah, just stay positive. Limit the amount of news that you hear every day. I have actually stopped going on news channels and hearing what they have to say, because it really drains my energy. So I would rather, as a person, I would rather engage myself in something productive and something that I would love to do during this, I call it a restful time, basically. I don't feel I'm being locked up. I feel that it's the time for everybody to rest and to go within when we are not able to go out. So it's more about praying more, meditating more. We must meditate as much as possible, because I have, this is something that I used to postpone earlier, but after this situation, I've actually started meditating every day regularly, and it has brought me down into a very peaceful state of mind. So, yes, so read more, meditate, limit the news that you are watching, think positive, think beyond the situation, which is very important. And just think for a few minutes that during the day, that this darkness is pushing us towards the light. So we are living in a world of duality where everything exists in dual nature. So the darkness and the problem that we are going through right now is just an experience, and it is pushing us, it is taking us towards light and towards an improved state of mind for everybody. Many people are going to wake up after this situation. They are going to be more empathetic, they're going to be more compassionate towards each other, they're going to value being human, and they're going to be just more of themselves. They're going to connect more with the soul, basically. So that's it. I hope you like my little interview, and inshallah, I hope people like it. Take care. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Allah Hafiz.